Another subject I wanted to talk about was this hypothesis that a woman's children will exhibit traits from previous sexual partners even if that was not the man that got her pregnant. Sperm is not simply pollinating the egg and turning it into a fetus. Apparently, it is literally shooting DNA information into the woman and changing her biological makeup. I've heard this theory before, but I felt the need to talk about it now because there's this article right here that I can link to directly, and it changes the perception of right and wrong regarding sexual intercourse. I've never been one to believe in the institution of marriage or the institution of monogamous relationships. I do believe homosexuality is diabolical and devious, but not for the reasons most people think. It is not because of the debauchery of having multiple sex partners. It's because it holds absolutely no value to our evolutionary cycle. None at all. You know, I don't care about this bullshit of romantic relationships or it makes me happy, it feels good. Bullshit. This is life. Nothing about life feels good. This isn't something you enjoy. I hardly call love something enjoyable. Love is manipulation. Love is a power struggle. You know, not always. There are some relationships that are authentically equal and people actually build each other up, but the vast majority of relationships are about power. Power over somebody else because you are too weak to have power over masses, so you'll have power over one person. That's what relationships are about. That's what the patriarchy was about. It was about having power over a woman so that the man could use her as an incubation tool to have children that he could use to give his land to somebody. That's what family is all about. That's what you know, marriage and that religious institution is about. It's about keeping the empires stable. It's about people that own land and commodity have someone to inherit it to. That's all. That's why bastard children were considered such a disgraceful thing, because it tore into twain all of that. It you know, it jumbled up the legal system. It made people question what exactly defined a person's child and what defined family and what defined rightful ownership, and that's capital. Capitalism has its roots in marriage and the institution of ownership and family lineage. So, as someone that obviously is anti-capitalist, I would be opposed to anything that would preserve capitalism, even if it's just the most primitive form of capital ownership. And there's other reasons too to not want people to really get married or to you know, bind themselves to one sexual partner, and it's because of how can I put this? Darwinism. Not social Darwinism. I don't think people should be exterminated because they are inferior, but because we can use this knowledge to improve humanity. Let's put it this way. If I know I'm a good person, I have honesty, I have integrity, I have dignity, I have devotion, it is my duty as a man to implant my seed in as many women as possible so that my DNA melds with their own, and maybe, just maybe, when they have a children someday, they will exhibit traits of Jim Prophet. Maybe not as directly, since I was not the one to actually impregnate them, but they will have Jim Prophet-like mannerisms laying dormant inside them. I don't know what form that will take on, I don't know exactly how reliable that is, but given scientific data, that most likely would happen. God plays with dice. That's just the way physics works. And in a lot of ways, if you play Dungeons & Dragons or any similar game, it makes a lot more sense. The idea that every single person that has ever been born is a series of dice rolls on whether or not they take more after one family line's genes or another, or how that interacts, how that affects their immune system, how that affects their mental capabilities, etc. there's way too much to consider to try to specify and try to, bring it down to what you believe to be the perfect race. That's where fascists and Nazis and everything got it wrong. You cannot, in any hope, try to create a perfect race, with your primitive knowledge and, your three-dimensional view. There's so many things to consider and so many variables that would be impossible to try to stick it to one mold. However, you can use that knowledge to try to make a positive outcome, even if it's not a directly known positive outcome. Chaotic good alignment, And a lot of nationalists probably think that their race exhibits at least enough positive qualities that it can be preserved, and that if they remain nationalists, that at least those positive qualities will be more integrated. They will be stronger, they will be more blunt. And, let's say white supremacists think white people are smarter and more noble and things like that. So, by trying to keep it white and trying to marry other white people and have sex with other white people, yada yada, they're hoping those characteristics will become more blatant with each generation because they have not deviated from it. Therefore, white people will be pure white, and thus their positive traits will be those pure positive traits. However, I don't think it quite works like that. I think that whatever traits one race can have, another race can have. Just as we can say white people are good, we can say black people are good, we can say Hispanic people are good, we can say Asian people are good, and if you ask me, white people are on the lower end of the good spectrum, given the fact that most moderators tend to be white. So, what I'm saying here is that you as a man have every right to go out and have sex with as many women as you want, so long as you're having sex with women. If you're having homosexual activity, you are a burden upon our entire species. You are filthy, you are disgusting, I hate you. But, it is our duty to shoot our DNA into women and to change them, to make them undergo a metamorphosis. And then they, in the future, will give birth to people that exhibit at least one of our positive traits. The entire purpose of our existence is to make more positivity, is to make the world more just and righteous in whatever way we can. So, that's what I'm trying to say here. And the good news is that moderators probably are not having a whole lot of sex, which means their negativity and their wretchedness will not pass on quite as often as the rest of us. The problem is that a lot of the people that are having multiple sex partners are not exactly really good people, they're just not extremely bad people. At best, they're useful idiots. The sort of New Jersey Shore frat boy type of guy that has sex with lots of women isn't the best example of the positive sides of humanity. But I wouldn't go as far as to say they are directly in conflict with humanity's best interests either. I would not say that some college guy that, gets drunk all the time and parties is as bad as a moderator or is as deviant to the human race's genetic material as a homosexual, but we could do better than that. And the people that know they are better than that should go out and have sex. That's what I'm saying. That if you know you exhibit something, whether it be intelligence, whether it be courage, whether it be tenacity, whether it be, actual moral fiber, it is your duty to go out and have sex. You Christian people that think you are religiously inclined and think you are closer to God than the rest of us, have a duty to your God and to yourselves and to your species to go out and have sex. Because you need to reproduce that trait. You need to reproduce that quality and improve the standard of living for the rest of us. But are you going to do it? Or are you going to sit there in stagnation and wait for your genes to die with you? You're going to rot in the grave, maybe having one sexual partner in your lifetime, and, pass on your genes minimally, and while evil people are passing on their genes, and less than hospital people are passing on their genes, and humanity deteriorates because of it. You know, so what I'm advocating here is pure heterosexual debauchery. Yeah, you know, I'm pretty honest about it. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it. I encourage people to have lots and lots of sex, but it has to be heterosexual sex. And if this theory is correct, you do not necessarily have to impregnate the woman, but it wouldn't hurt. It certainly helps. But even just having heterosexual sex results in beneficiary attitudes toward our species as a whole. I guess that's all I have to say.